what was my happy place was not making me happy. I was, playing with like, I needed to do this for Dad. I needed to score. And the goals weren't coming. So then I'm like, I'm never going to score for him again. All these little things. And that time when Dad passed away, it was all the first. Like it was hard, and my body broke down.
Welcome to Rare Meats, presented to you by Qatar Airways, the world's best airline. Now stay with me to check out who's next on Rare Meats. Let's go. I'm really looking forward to this episode of Rare Meats because we've got a lioness who England can always rely on for a performance on the biggest stage. As well as being a fierce competitor, Ella Toone is known as a bit of a joker, so I'm looking forward to getting some insight from her on how she shapes her mentality to make sure that she's always ready to perform. Some of you might know that Ella unfortunately lost her dad in recent months. I lost my mum and my wife towards the end of my career, and I know exactly how that affected me. She recently come back from an injury and scored in her first game back, so I want to hear how she managed to cope with a big life-changing event and still compete at the top level. Right, let's get on with the show. So Ella, do you remember this picture?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I do.
How long ago was that, do you think? Must be like 12, 15, I don't know.
Yeah, I think I must have been about 10 there, so 15 years ago.
Wow.
I know.
That is mad, isn't it?
You don't look any different.
I look tired, man. There's a lot of pressure going on there.
Yeah.
Black under my eyes. It's weird, isn't it, when you look back like that? So what was you? Was you part of the Man United Academy then?
Yeah, so I would have been in the academy then, and I remember this day because I think the girls who had been picked for like ETCs, so like before the England camps, we got invited to, must have been Carrington, maybe, to meet you because we'd been picked for them, so a bit of a reward. So we went.
What was the reward?
Yeah, apparently.
Wow.
I know, yeah. A bit gutted it weren't Ronaldo, really. But yeah, we went to go down, got pictures, and I think we did a bit of a Q&A.
Nice.
But yeah, I was buzzing because I was obsessed with Man United then, and just watching them, and yeah, obviously meeting you was all right.
So you was part of the academy. Is that one of the inspirations? Because I've been obviously looking up on you before you come on. You've got an academy yourself, ET7.
Yeah.
Is that part of the inspiration as to why you remember what you was like at that age and what it meant to you?
Yeah, I mean, I was obsessed with football, obsessed with Manchester United. I think when I was younger, growing up in the women's game, you couldn't always see it. You couldn't always see what you wanted to be. So for me, watching you lot, I wanted to be a professional footballer. So I think now I have that platform that I can give back, be a role model. I'm really close with where I come from, and I hope that one day a girl from Tilsley, where I'm from, will go on to do what I've done, even bigger and better, and I can be a part of her journey. I think that was the main thing for me when I set out. I've got a fan base that's quite big now, and I have girls wanting to come from all over the country. So if I can make it bigger and give opportunities for them as well, then yeah, I'll try and do that.
Imagine you, like a kid being down there, like, I don't know what age is, like 10 years old, 12 years old, like, and then all of a sudden you rock up and it's like, that must be mental for these kids now, do you know what I mean?
I know, it's funny because when they train, I obviously always ask about them, how they've done, how they're getting on. And then when I come down, apparently the level just goes like that.
So when I'm down,
when I'm down, they just like turn into, like 100%, and that's where they can get to.
The women's game's like, it's gone crazy. Obviously the Euros, which she was a massive part of, scoring in the final, first goal and stuff. But the jump it's had, like in terms of like popularity, like people taking part, and you look at that and go like, wow, how close can it get to the men's game? Is that something that you're conscious of, or you talk about with the other girls in the change room, or is it just listen, we're on our own path, doing our own thing?
We're on our own path. I think you look from where it's been and where it is now, and obviously the win in the Euros just took it huge. Yeah. It was massive, and the growth in such a short space of time has been massive, and I think we can keep pushing it, but we're miles off it compared to the men's.
In what sense?
I just think, for me, as a women's footballer, not obviously the money's brilliant, but I think the main thing for us as women's team is equal opportunities, equal facilities, pitches, things like that. That it's football, it's one game, it's not men's football, women's football, it's just football, and if we can get that
equal
the
pay?
Same, that'd be nice. But yeah, obviously there's a big difference with fans and crowds, and we don't fill Old Trafford like the men do. and that's the differences in women's football. But for us, it's about being on our own journey and pushing it as far as we can for the next generation.
You talked about loving the game, and I want to take you back to when you was a kid. What was it? What was the big thing at the beginning that you went, wow, I love that. I want to be a part of that. I want to try and be that.
I was just obsessed with it. I just used to play all the time in the garden. I was obsessed with Man United. I used to watch Ronaldo all the time, and not you, and copy his skills and all that. But I think when I first went down to Manchester United on the trial, and then after 2 weeks, they were like, "We want to sign you." That was just, a turning point for me. That was like, wow, I hope that in the future I can play professionally for Manchester United and just play professional football. And I absolutely loved it growing up. And like I say, just obsessed with it. Everything was about football.
But how many girls in your class when you was at school were like interested in football, had that passion that you had?
None.
Is it?
I think in school, only me. I mean, I made my mates play with me. I don't think they enjoyed it, but I made them play. But I just played with the lads all the time. I remember in primary school, it was literally me and the lads.
Wow.
High school, me and the lads played for the lads team. And then I think we got to about year 9 and I was like, come on, we can start a girls team here. Got all my mates on it and I'd just make them pass it me and I'd run through and score. So I don't know if they enjoyed it as much as me, but I think back then it was just me. And now I look at the amount of girls playing football and it's just unbelievable. And when I go to the academy and I watch them train, I'm like, wow, these girls are so much better than I was at that age.
Yeah, I think that when I watched my boys in the academy, they're doing things that we never dreamed of. Is it the same for you with the girls?
100%. Like I said to the coaches, like, wow, these girls should be at clubs. Like, these girls are much better than I was at that age. But because the game's grown so much, it's harder to get in. Like the men's game, I think all the lads who play football, it's so hard to get into an academy. And that's becoming the same with the women's game, which is amazing. I think when I was growing up, like I say, I was the only one in the school who played football as a girl, and now there's school football teams all the time.
So talking about the academy, and you obviously signed for United at the academy level, and you look at that and you go like, to get to play for the club that you've loved and you're obsessed with, like what is that like?
Yeah, I mean, I was at the academy for 7 years, and there was no women's team to look up to then. They didn't have a women's United team, and the hardest thing for me was to move away.
We won't talk about that.
Yeah, I know, and
Man
where
City,
I went.
Blackburn.
But as soon as he got a women's team, I knew that I wanted to come back home. And I've been here 7 years and loved every minute of it. And I think I've grown so much as a person and a player. But like for me, the difference is when I put that shirt on, that's the club that I fell in love with.
Why Man United then?
Not really sure, because Dad supported Bolton.
Can't play for them.
I know. But my family was a bit torn. There's a few Liverpool fans and then a few United fans. So, I went with United. My cousin said, I support United. And I said, I do too. And then from that day, that was it. I was a United fan.
How important was family for you to become a professional footballer?
Oh, yeah, hugely important. I think, Dad took me absolutely everywhere growing up, every single game. Mum and Dad had come to, home and away. And even when we went away with England, they'd always be there. And they just wanted me to do well. They wanted me to be happy. They wanted me to just enjoy it, the main thing. They never put any pressure on me. But they were always there when I needed them, like, what football's like. There's so many highs and lows, and no matter what, they were always there. And I think the support that I've had growing up and, that belief, that inner belief from your family that, you're going to go far, you're going to do well. That definitely got me to where I am today. And every time I step onto the pitch, it's to make them proud. And I think they were a massive part of me growing up and becoming a footballer. Was
there any moments in that journey to get to being a professional where you thought it's not going to happen, or I want to stop and do something else because you're disheartened or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean,
and then family came in and stepped in and helped you.
Yeah, I mean, there was a time where I had to leave United, and I thought, oh my God, I can't go anywhere else. I can't. All I've ever known is being at United. And Dad was like, come on, you're fine, like. Yeah. And I moved and it was fine. Like he said, it was fine. And you just overthink things, but they're there to push you over. And there was a time where I was at City for 2 years and I wasn't offered a professional contract. And I thought, this is it. Like, I'm never going to be offered one. But I kept going. My family said, don't worry, you'll be offered one. And I got offered one at Man United. And I think those things shape you as a person, as a player, and it's the people that you have around you at the time to get you through them. And yeah, my family was definitely that support network.
And you mentioned your dad there. Unfortunately, your dad passed away recently, and I heard about it actually and reached out to him and sent him a message because I thought it was something that touched me straight away personally. But how important was he specifically in your journey and supporting you that whole way?
Yeah, he was really important. He was obsessed with football, loved it. Supported Bolton though, which is a bit weird.
Yes.
But I know, poor from him. But yeah, loved it. Like loved taking me, obsessed with women's football. Loved everything about it. And yeah, like I say, took me home, away, took me everywhere, all over the world. And yeah, obviously it's been difficult without him, but I know that that's what he would want me to do. He would want me to keep going, and he's took me this far, and he's left me at a good place where I know that I can continue doing that. And I have a massive family, and it's affected everyone just like me. But we've stuck together and we've kept going. And yeah, I know that he's got the best seat in the house now, and he'll always be watching. And it's funny now because he loved watching me train. Like when I was younger, he'd love training. He'd be like, Ella, you love training. I love watching it. And now I'm like, right, he's actually watching now because he's up there. And now I've got to give even 100% more than I ever have done before because I know he's watching everything. But yeah, he was massive for me growing up. And he's left me in a place where I know that I'm going to be all right.
It's another thing when I reached out to you, I was like worried about how do you continue? Because obviously my wife passed away when I was just at the end of my career, but then my mum passed away quite quickly. And I was like, I thought back to that time when I was in the position you was in and thought, there's no way I'm playing football. I couldn't imagine a day where I could continue playing. Yeah. And I'd always had the training ground and playing football was at a safe place when things weren't going well in my life. But for them type of that big thing to happen and to think I could play was like impossible. Now to see you continue training, you've come back, your first game back, you score a goal, which must have been like an unbelievable feeling. Tell me what that's been like.
Yeah, I mean, straight away when I lost him, I was in training the day after.
The day after?
Yeah, like straight away, I had no days off. I was like, right, this is what we're going to do. Dad won't want me moping around. And for me, football's always been that, happy place, safe place. And no matter what's going on, when you're on the pitch, you don't ever think about anything. And I think, yeah, as much as I know that he would have wanted that, it probably weren't the best thing to do. And I'd gone September to November, playing week in, week out, starting every game, training every day. And then I got injured, and now is the time where I can look back and think, yeah, as much as I wanted to do that for him, for my own sake, I probably should have, took a step back, had time to process it. I think now looking back, I was playing with pressure. What was my happy place was not making me happy. I was, playing with like, I needed to do this for Dad. I needed to score. And the goals weren't coming. So then I'm like, oh, I'm never going to score for him again. All these little things. And that time when Dad passed away, it was all the first, first game at Old Trafford, first game at Lee Sports Village, first away game where you're, staying over the night before and you're on your own, first England trip, like all these firsts
that he'd been a part of before as well all the time.
Like it was hard, and my body broke down, tore my calf, and I think it was the best thing that could have happened to me. I think it was a blessing in disguise, and I used these 3 months to make sure that I was physically better, but mentally better as well. And I think I'm at a place now where, I understand that grief, it can hit you whenever, you could go 5 days feeling all right and then it hit you again. But I'm at a place now where I know that that's going to happen, and there's no right or wrong way to deal with it. But for me, it's knowing that he's up there, and that, I need to play without the pressure of everything else. And when I came back from injury, I scored, which was another first.
Another banger.
It was all right, wasn't it? I know he'd waited long enough, so I thought it might as well be good. You don't want to tap in, does it? But like that feeling of scoring and that feeling of playing was just like, right, it's done now. Like it's a release. Was
the pressure off your shoulders? Did you feel that weight just lifted straight away?
Instantly.
Wow.
I was, when I got injured, I was talking to a counsellor as well, and I said, like, I want to make sure that when I'm on my way back, I miss the game and I want to play. You know, when I first got injured, I weren't missing it because it weren't making me happy. It was making me feel worse in a place that has always brought me so much joy.
Yeah.
And I was like, right, this is the time. Get my head around things, process it, and come back stronger than ever. And I feel physically better. I feel mentally better because I'm playing with less pressure. And like I say, the goal was just a weight lifted. I don't need to force things now to get a goal for Dad. As much as he wouldn't want me to do that anyway, you know, you want to do it. But I think it was nice for my family as well. Like, he's always been there, and at home games, I've always got like 30 people in the box, you know, and he was the main guy, like giving it banter and all that. And they were missing that as well. And then to watch me struggling on the pitch was hard for them. So I think for all of us, it was a blessing in disguise. I've used it as best I can. And yeah, I think for now I'm in a good place, and hopefully I can continue doing that. And like I say, with grief, it can hit you whenever, and I've learnt now that's all right, and you can feel how you want to feel.
Let the emotion. That's what I thought as well. Let the emotion come out. If it comes out like through tears, you always feel better after. I think a good cry.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
We're gonna do one. Should we cry together now?
I don't want my eyelashes to fall off on your podcast. But no, you know, it's hard, and I think for me, going through it and speaking to people who've gone through similar really helped. And
you've done amazingly to do that, to continue playing, even the time off, and to handle yourself, and to remain strong, and to come back, and then to score goals, and then to even sit and be able to talk about this like this now, so close to it, and not that you're not being in tears, but being able to just be composed that's like a feat in itself. But just back to football and the game itself, the club, friends, like how important have they been in that process? And you just mentioned counselling. You've gone to counselling as well. How important has all that been for you?
Oh, it's been so important. I think my family is massive anyway. The Toone family is quite big and quite well known in Tilsley, so everyone knew Dad, and everyone's been amazing. I walk down the street and people are asking me if I'm all right. How's your mum? You know, that togetherness of the community has helped massively. My family, they've been amazing, and my friends, and one of my friends lost her mum 2 years ago to breast cancer. So with the friend groups had it all, like, but having her has helped me massively, understanding what she's been through and how she's felt. And even like you think like, why am I smiling one day? Like, why am I happy? Like, you feel bad for feeling certain ways, like
guilty.
Like why are you smiling? Like, you lost your dad last week. Like, you know, all these things that play in your mind. But everyone's been amazing. The club have been amazing. The managers looked after me. But the girls, they've just, you know, like, I came in straight after because I thought, I don't want to make it awkward for them. Like, I don't want to not come in for a week and then them all be like, well, what do you say? But they've just acted the same, you know, which has been so nice for me to just be able to come in, get on with it, and, you know, they'll look after me. And when I think it was Dad's funeral, they played Liverpool, they scored and they did a sign, and, you know, just little things like that they've always got your back, and that I could be having a bad day one day and they'll understand. You know, it's nice to have that feeling of togetherness, and that you have so many highs with people in the changing room, but even when you're at your lowest, that no matter what, they'll always be there. So yeah, it's been hard, but I've got a lot of good people.
I think people being as normal as possible around you is the best thing, because like you just said, that's something that I used to feel, that I probably cared about how other people felt more than myself during it. Like, I don't want to make them feel awkward. Do you know what I mean? Or bad. So you try and really kind of navigate situations to help them rather than yourself. And then I think that's where maybe an injury comes in and you go, actually, what about me?
Yeah.
Let me work on myself a bit, which is nice.
Yeah. As soon as I got injured, I was like crying and stuff, but it weren't even about the injury. Like, it was just everything, you know, all that time where I've not processed, and I've not had time to process it, and I think that he's still coming back, and, you know, all these little things. And did my calf, and I thought, I know I've done it, but I'm not even crying about that. Like, I'm just crying about everything else. And everyone was coming over to me, you okay? And I'm like, that is not a good question right now. But it was just like, right, this is it. I've got time now. because the type of person I am, even if I knew I needed to stop, I would never. I would never pull myself out of training if I've hurt something.
Like that.
Yeah, I was just like, I got injured on the Friday. Saturday we were travelling to Leicester. Packed my bags, me. Like I thought, I'm going here. Like I went for a scan. I thought I'll be fine. I'll go anyway. I'll get some minutes tomorrow. And like that's just the type of person I am. And I think the blessing was that the body broke down so that I had to stop.
So your body telling you, isn't it, that?
My body told me. I think if my calf didn't go, I would have had a breakdown anyway at some point. So yeah, it was a blessing in disguise.
So let's talk about the Euros. You're playing for Man United, you get through the academy, and then all of a sudden you're on the big stage and you're impacting games. Like what because obviously the focus on the sport wasn't as great then. And all of a sudden your generation starts to come through, then all of a sudden a big noise starts to be made. What's that like? How are you dealing with that, not having that and not seeing that really before?
I think that changed after the Euros. I think when we were at the Euros, we were in such a bubble and we didn't know how much of an impact we had on the outside world until we got out of it. So when I was coming on in games in the Euros, it was just me. Like I didn't have any pressure from outside. The only pressure was myself. And I'd go on in those games and create big moments. I mean, I obviously came on and scored in the final and
banger.
Yeah, it was all right. When I don't know what it is about big games or Wembley or.
You are the go-to girl.
I turn up. I know. I turn up for some reason, and I think.
Do the girls all know that? The girls talk you like when you turn up, it's like she's here, guys. She's here.
I'm not sure. I mean, they always say like, "Come on, this is your home, Wembley." Like you score at Wembley.
So like she's got 3 goals at Wembley that have won 3 games. Like it's a joke in finals. Start. It's not a bad start. That's Drogba-esque, isn't it? Drogba was that guy.
Yeah.
So is it like you're just built for that, or is it like it's the way that you prepare yourself, or what is it that makes you that person?
I don't ever think about it. Like everyone says, like you're a big game player, but for some reason in those games, I just tend to make something happen. Whether it's I might have one shot and score, luckily, but I think it's just the preparation that I put into the week. When I step out onto the pitch, I just have to enjoy it. I just have to play with that bit of freedom and make sure that I give 100% for the team. And if something falls to me, then be confident enough that I can put it away. It's
mad because we had a player at Jason Park.
Yeah.
In big games would turn up, and teammates love that. Do you know what I mean? You can sense as well as your teammates. You can see there's a respect there because they know that when something's needed at a big moment, there ain't many people that can do that. So that's like quite a unique ability to be able to do that. So it's like I always think though, is it trained? Is it just knowing the moment? Is it smelling it? You can't even put your finger on it because I was never that person.
You never make big moments.
I had a couple of big moments, but they weren't goals.
Yeah, big tackles.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Honestly, like, people say all the time, like, how have you done that again? Like, I think I've scored in a quarter-final, semi-final and a final of a major tournament, and I think I'm the first one to do that or something, maybe.
That's a joke.
And yeah, like, that doesn't faze me that that's happened, and I don't ever think like, oh, when I played in the FA Cup final, I need to make something happen in this game. I know this is big games, this is my time. I literally just play as if it's another game.
That's probably when it don't happen, if you overthink it.
If you overthink it, yeah. I think when you put that pressure on yourself to make something happen, that's when you force things. Whereas if you just let it play out, then luckily for me, it happens that way.
What's been your favourite goal at Wembley?
It's got to be the chip against Germany in the Euro final.
That was nasty, I've got to be honest. It was mad.
Well, such a lovely ball over the top here, and the running behind for England is by Toone. What a chip! What a goal! What a goal! Wembley roars for the Lionesses.
Because we weren't even like, my family wasn't a family that watched women's football, I have to be honest. My boys played academy level. My daughter is not really into football, she likes horses. But when that tournament started and all of a sudden it just gathered momentum and you lot were winning, even we were sitting down.
Yeah, it captured everyone.
It just got us all, and it was like, when that goal went in, man, it was like, what does that do to you? How are you feeling? Are you then thinking about the outside world for that split second or not?
No, I'm thinking, I hope we're 93rd minute here so she can blow a whistle. Yeah. I've never wanted a game to finish so quick in my life. But I remember I scored, I can't remember what time it was, and I thought, oh my God, we've got so long to go. All I could think about was, please leave it 1-0 so I look even better. But then obviously we'd like to make it hard for ourselves, and yeah, I didn't think for once of anything else other than making sure that we won that game. That was the main thing. And like I say, it was the bubble that we were in that nothing from the outside affected us. It was literally us, and all we wanted to do was win. And yeah, luckily we won, and it was unbelievable for the women's game especially, and the growth that it made.
Well, I look at when I used to play, I used to think, oh, all these lot are going to be my best mates. Like when I retire, everyone's my best mate.
Yeah.
I could probably count on the hand who my really good mates in the game are. Who are your best mates in football at the minute?
Obviously, Alessia. Yeah, we've
you
gone
two are
through,
like two peas in a pod,
yeah,
aren't
we
it?
are besties. Yeah, we've gone through a lot together, and I think for me, like, you know when who your best mates are when like you play with them, and then you part ways, but you always keep in contact, and you because there's people who I thought were my best mates, and then we've moved on and we've not spoke.
Yeah.
And that's just football, isn't it? Like you meet so many people and you think, oh, I love this person, my best mate. And yeah, when you do part ways, you don't end up speaking to them. But I think with Les, like, she's always been there. We've grown up together. We've played in the youth ages together. She was at United, and now she's at Arsenal, and we still speak every day. Like, so yeah, I think the friends that you make in football are really important, and you know exactly who they are when times are tough as well.
We got a WhatsApp group. Have you got a WhatsApp group with the teams or not?
We've got WhatsApp groups with the teams, yeah, but yours sounds better than mine.
Does it? Yeah, ours is sick, seriously. Some of the stuff that goes... Patrice ever gets mullered, hammered all the time.
Is it all the United lads?
Yeah, it's like a 208, 210 team. Like, it's like... you've got the younger lads, yeah, you've got the younger lads like Tom Cleverley, Danny Welbeck, and those like Nani and Anderson and that. Then you've got like the older... You know who's joined recently? Edwin van der Sar.
Oh, nice.
I think he's going to delete himself soon because the chat
Does he
ain't
not
for
put
him.
gifts in?
I don't know if he knows how to do gifts.
Yeah.
But you got like who else is in there? Johnny Evans is in there who's currently playing.
Who started it?
I think it was me.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
I think it was me. Because you know the lads don't. Sometimes you don't speak. Like you're saying there, it's such a thing where we're all friends. We've been on an amazing journey together, and then you all part ways and go separately, and it's like you disperse and you don't really talk anymore.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you bring each other together? We've got all this technology now. You've got to use it. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's like your team who won the Euros.
Yeah.
You got to start a group, surely, and just keep talking.
There is a group, but hardly anything ever gets put in unless Jill Scott's trying to sell us something.
Like a cup of tea or something,
like,
coffee.
I'm like, oh, Jill's in the chat again. Or like, Jill will put like, good luck girls for the game. You know, it'll always be Jill, but it don't go off. I want it to like go off. You know
we
what I mean?
hammer each other.
Is it active every day?
Where's my thingy now? Active, mate. It's active.
Is it?
Constantly. Let me just have a look. Wait, let me see if there's something
That is
gone
some
in.
good group chat, that.
If something's not gone in now, Wazza, I think, was the last person who spoke in there. It's called Band of Brothers.
Band of Brothers?
Yeah, Band of Brothers.
Oh, Band of Brothers.
Yeah. Nice. I can't tell you the next bit. It's not, it won't make the cut. Yeah, it's just hammering United team. Look, lads are just hammering them through the game. He's not good enough.
You're busy in it, aren't you?
Huh?
You're busy in it.
Yeah, I'm all over it. Look. You can see the green in it.
Every other message.
No, but I love it. But you know what? It just
so
keeps
good.
me connected to the lads.
Yeah, exactly.
You've had an unbelievable memory with them guys. And to think that we're never really going to be in contact again. That's what I was saying about your Euros group. But sometimes, you know what? It's just like lookalikes even.
Yeah.
So Pat gets hammered with like shorter people. You know what I mean? He gets loads of pictures like that put in. Let's go back onto the England squad that was just so successful. The team spirit looks like quite unique when you're looking from the outside and you look about any team, men's or women's in football. Successful teams need a good team spirit and like a unity. Like what were the things that you remember that kind of brought you all together in that moment?
I think the team spirit can get you so far. That was our first major tournament under Serena as well, so she made sure that our team togetherness was 100%.
What little things was she had done?
I think like little things like I remember us playing volleyball all together, like just a little fun game like that. But it must have been the best day of camp because everyone talks about it today. Just that it was fun. We were not thinking about football. We were just being with each other and enjoying that. And yeah, just having that banter and stuff creates that team togetherness. And I think especially in that tournament we had it, and it took us all the way to the end. Was
she like the missing piece? Because you lot obviously were building as a team.
Yeah.
And then she comes in. Was she a missing piece for you, do you think?
Well, I mean, she'd won a home Euros with the Netherlands. So we knew we've got a good manager here. Like, she knows what it takes to win. And yeah, I think she probably was the missing piece of the jigsaw. I think the team that we had we had experienced players, we had young players, so much talent in the squad. And then for her to come in and put her stamp on everything, it just made us tick. And yeah, the way we performed in that tournament, we just got better and better. And yeah, it was an unbelievable summer and one I'll never forget.
I asked Kingsley Coman this question in an interview done the other day with him about coming on in a massive game. And what were the instructions from the manager coming on there?
The good thing about that was throughout the tournament, I knew my role was to be a game changer, and I wasn't going to start in the games. I was always going to come on and make an impact, whether we were winning or losing. And I think in that moment, it was just do what you've been doing the whole tournament. You've come on, you've made things happen, you've changed games, and yeah, this is your time. I remember going on and feeling confident in myself, and yeah, as soon as Kira played that ball over the top, I was just so confident that I chipped it. Like, not many people would have chipped it in that scenario, but I think from the way I was playing throughout the tournament and the way I felt, yeah, something just made me think, go over.
Do you know what's the mad thing is that a lot of players, because obviously you're a starter for your club, then to go into an international team in a tournament and be told, actually, you're going to be our impact player and you're going to get us goals from the bench. Is it the way that's communicated to you that enables you to think that this is fine and I can do it, or is it just that down to the person like yourself being humble?
I think it's a bit of both, but I'm one of them. I don't want to sit on the bench. No footballer wants to ever sit on the bench, do they? They want to play every minute of every game. And for me at United, that I was playing every minute of every game, and to go to a tournament and to be told that you're not going to play, I was all right with that. I knew that what my role was and what the manager wanted from me, and that she believed in me, and that I would have chances to come on in games and make an impact. And I think just being valued, whether you starting, whether you weren't starting, the whole team felt valued, so that when you came on, for me especially, I knew my role. And yeah, I embraced it. Obviously, I wanted to play, but you've got to put that to a side. Like, you're in a tournament, you've got to be a team player. You've got to make sure that you're ready for when you're called upon. And even if you don't play, you've got to make sure that you're the best teammate. And yeah, I think the way it was communicated, I was fine with coming on and being that sub that they needed. I
think it's important. I played I didn't even play. I went to the World Cup in '98, and Michael Owen, when he exploded onto the scene, Michael Owen. And that was one of the things, again, why he was able to do that. The manager let him know early, you're not going to start probably, but if you produce and if I bring you on, there's an opportunity for you. And I think once the manager communicates properly with players, they get so much more out of them.
Yeah, 100%. I think, like, if you're expecting to start and then you don't, then you can't change that frustration. And whereas if you're told beforehand and you know your role already, you don't get frustrated when the team comes out and you're not playing, because you already know. Like, you've already processed it in your head, and you know that, right, when I'm called upon, I'll be ready. And yeah, I think it definitely helps with the manager making sure that they have them conversations with players.
We've got one of the guys who's always on our shows, Joel Bayer. He's an Arsenal fan. So he always goes back to the Invincible stuff because he's got nothing to shout about now. Your team with England went on like a 30-game Invincible type run. Like, what's that feeling like for as a player being a part of that when you go into games?
Yeah, you have that target on your back. Everyone wants to beat you. The teams want to be the first team to make sure your streak ends. Obviously, that time in our England career was amazing. We were winning games, we were confident, and I think when we lost, it was like, wow, we've not felt like this before. We've not felt this in ages. But I think they're the games that help as well. Like, you can't just think that you're going to win every single game. So for us, I think when that streak ended, it was like, right, people really want to beat us. Like, people can beat us now. Like, what can we do now to make sure that we get back on that run?
Just want to go back to, like, you personally, you know, like, you got a profile now. People know who you are. You walk down the street, people come up to you and ask you pictures and autographs, etc. And you obviously have a reputation as being quite a fun and jovial kind of girl, likes to laugh, takes the mick. You've took the mick at me a few times actually already. But how do you kind of look at that and balance that about the way you compete as a competitor? And getting that balance right of being funny and having a laugh and being actually, I'm a real professional and work hard at my game.
Yeah. I think if you ask teammates, like, if they could sum me up in 2 words, I would like to think they'd say funny, but I'd like to think that they'd say competitive. And I think for me, I love having a joke. I love having a laugh. I love that, you know, camaraderie in the changing rooms and having a bit of banter. But as soon as I step over the white line, like, I'm on it. Like, I hate losing. I hate it.
Even in training, yeah?
Yeah, bad. Like, don't speak to me after training if I lose. Like,
I like that.
proper moody in training if something don't go right. So it's that balance of, yeah, I'm a bit of a joker and I love a laugh and love that team togetherness. But as soon as I step over the white line, like, I want to win. So I think that my teammates know that. I think I've got that balance right at the minute. So it's kind of nice to be known as someone who likes to laugh, but also someone who makes sure that they want to win and give 100%.
Because when you listen to like your podcast or I've seen your interviews, you do like to have a laugh. Like, do you ever worry about that reputation goes before you?
Yeah, that people can't take me seriously.
Yeah. Is that a concern of yours at all, or are you not bothered?
I think for me, I like people to, I forgot the word. What's that word that people, Joe, you said it before.
Take you
Relate.
serious. Okay, yeah.
Come on, man. What are you doing?
What are you here for, bro? Come on.
Yeah. One question. Yeah, that's the word. I think for me, I like that people can relate to me. Like, I'm just a normal girl. I'm from Tilsley. Like, I don't want to put on this persona that I am someone who I'm not. I'm just a girl who loves playing football and someone who can relate to me. And yeah, I think it doesn't worry me what people think about me. I think I am what I am. And if you don't like it, then
do one.
Piss off.
It's mad. You know, you talk about Tilsley. That's the way I talk and feel about Peckham, where I'm from. Like, I always think to myself, like, that's my area. When people ask you where you're from and you go, I'm from like Peckham, people go, oh, are you? Are you? Like, almost feel sorry for you.
Gutted.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you've had an hard upbringing. But going back to your changing room, who were the ones that kind of like drove that changing room? Because obviously I look at the men's game and we talk about it a lot.
Yeah.
I'd like to hear about, like, in your dressing rooms, who were the people that you looked at and go, right, that was, when times were tough, I looked at that person.
I think for me, it's people like Lucy Bronze. She's won so much. She's won Champions League. She's been to so many major tournaments and she's a winner. She makes sure that every time she steps out onto the pitch, she drags everyone with her. And on the other hand, you've got the likes of Jill Scott, who's, you know, just an unbelievable person and someone that you need in a changing room. Someone who's loves a bit of a joke, but when they step out onto the pitch, they make sure they give 100%. And I think in a changing room, you've got to have so many different personalities for it all to click, because if you've got people who are the same, it's clash. And
yeah, definitely.
I think we had it right in the Euros, the types of people that we had in the changing room.
Ella, thanks so much for being so like open, so honest. I love hearing about your mentality. Like, you're so focused, you're determined, you're strong, you know what I mean, robust, handling like the highs and lows that football brings. And obviously speaking about your bangers that you scored over the years, big important goals. And I just hope that you continue to go on and doing your dad proud while you're playing football. So thanks again for coming in.
Oh, thank you.
Cheers. Brilliant. Fucking hell.
I did
you were
well
good,
there.
man. You were good. I heard your voice going a couple of times. You were fucking brilliant.
That's the first time. Like, I don't mind talking about him, like, to people, and, you know, having a joke and laughing and that. But it's when it's like serious, I'm like, fuck.